policy on small to medium enterprise launched. National Disaster Center has no funds to carry relief work. And police apprehend a suspect in yesterday's bombing.
This is National EMTV News with Hope Imaka.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. This is Friday's news. The country's new Small to Medium Enterprise or SME policy and Master Plan 2016 to 2030 was launched last night in Port Moresby. The new policy, if adequately resourced and successfully implemented, will result in achieving many broad-based milestones for PNG. Some of these include a significant growth in the economy, creating mass employment for citizens, and increasing local ownership of small to medium enterprises.
This is your country. Take advantage of it. The economy is growing.
That was the main message at the launch of the SME Policy 2016 and the SME Master Plan 2016 to 2030. Thousands attended the event that marked the beginning of a milestone for the country in terms of prospective economic growth, job creation, and business ownership opportunities for citizens. The Minister for Trade, Commerce and Industry, Richard Maru, said the policy and master plan were the result of global lessons and the government's analysis of the country's economy against Vision 2050.
One of the cornerstones of our economy and its growth in the future has to be the SME sector as a major engine for growth.
The new SME Corporation will oversee the implementation of the master plan, which will be a game changer for PNG if implemented successfully. Prime Minister Peter O'Neill, who is also the chairman of the SME Council, said because of personal experience, he had always wanted to start up his own business after graduating from university some 30 years ago.
Only because I grew up in a very poor environment in Yalbupangia, where my uncle ran a small taco shop, which helped fund my education. So I saw early the need for small businesses can have an impact on people's lives.
Both the Prime Minister and Mr. Maru admitted that achieving 500,000 SMEs by 2030 will require a lot of targeted investment, dedication, and support from all stakeholders.
It is a policy that is going to change thousands and millions of lives in the country.
Mr. O'Neill announced that more legislative reforms will be undertaken, including bringing back a business reserve list for PNG citizens. He also appealed to the governor of the central bank to ensure that the National Development Bank and the Microbank have retail banking licenses this year.
With this new master plan and the SME policy that we are launching today, it will guide future governments to make sure that they put enough resources into ensuring that SME has got a chance. To all our small businessmen and women, this SME is dedicated plan and master plan and policy is dedicated to you and to our people in Papua New Guinea. God bless you. This is a toast to you.
Delhi Waigeno, National EMTV News.
With a vision and mission to empower local communities and grow the local economy, East New Britain is a province that could well be setting the pace in tangible LLG developments in the country. As two of their officials explain, it's due commitment, strong leadership and a supportive population.
The team reported to the Leaders Summit that rural electrification, water projects and roadside markets were part of over 500 projects that were implemented last year. Acting Provincial Administrator Wilson Matavu said this is because of strong partnerships.
Firstly, our political leadership. Though all the politicians in the province, also our local leaders, they stand together in decision making. And also, in addition to that, we have a resilient population that continues to support the government, support the church, support development in the province.
He further explains a unique aspect of implementing developments in East New Britain is their no compensation policy.
If there is a new development and that encroaches into customary land, when it's rural electrification, roads or there is a no compensation policy of the provincial government that we will still maintain until today.
Mr. Matavu said they have a strong administrative structure that is responsive to national government policies, which is helped by a committed workforce. From their presentation, they showed that they are one province that has taken maximum advantage of the Services Improvement Program funds.
And all the SIP funds. This helped the province to sustain most of the infrastructures in the province and build new that will support the TFF policy and also the primary healthcare subsidy to all our health facilities.
The province is not without its challenges. Like other provinces, there has been a delay in TFF funding reaching schools, as explained by Anastasia Dio, Kokopo Deputy CEO.
We have seen a lot of complaints on the free education itself. A lot of remote schools have not received their subsidies. So if the government funding doesn't come quick, we have funding under the provincial ministry which can cater for those.
Looking ahead, Mr. Matavu said, as a province, they will continue to promote their economic strengths.
East New Britain is not a mining province. East New Britain is an agriculture province, and we will continue to promote agriculture, promote fisheries, the sector, and the tourism sector.
Sarah Aupong, National EMTV News.
East New Britain Province is determined to ensure their communities receive government services at their doorsteps. A big part of that plan is to ensure economic growth within the LLGs and ensuring secure access to land for the people.
In Kokopo district, work has already begun to turn what used to be old plantations into suburbs and what is being referred to as growth centers.
Some of the plantations where the resettlement exercises, some plantations where the people have moved into because of land pressures from their own, and the government has supported a couple of groups in Kokopo, in Gesell, that the government acquires this plantation, gives some portion of this plantation back to the people, and some portions of this plantation are for community centers.
Subdivision is catered for 1,200 blocks out of lot 2, 3 and 4 from the Malapau plantation itself, which covers Raluana.
Mr. Matavu said this land development is done in consultation with customary land groups and title holders. Ms. Dio, Deputy CEO of Kokopo, explains that with the growth centers, they hope to bring efficient services closer to the people.
Community buildings like a main church, a hospital, a main school, so that it is within the local level government where a township is being built.
Funding for this land development will come from the various Services Improvement Program funds. These plans will complement their effort in growing the SME sector within their LLGs, a vibrant sector that is already making use of a microfinance scheme that is owned by the people and was established in the district using the SIP funds.
In 2013, and 200,000 was deposited into the microfinance, the Kada Poroman, and we rolled out the 200,000. Our loan stands at 5 to 10,000.
Kada Poroman Microfinance is now looking forward to opening its ATMs. Sarah Aupong, National EMTV News.
Governors of the 5 provinces which host the PNG LNG project have signed a communique agreeing to work together to pursue benefit packages owed to their people. The governors of Hela, Southern Highlands, Western Gulf and Central provinces agreed to pursue these benefits, which include royalties, equity and development levies. However, their main focus will be the acquisition of the 4.27% equity in the PNG LNG project currently held by the Kumul Petroleum. All 5 governors have agreed to work on an acquisition strategy to ensure they acquire this equity by the 30th of June this year. The decision to pursue these benefits on behalf of landowners comes following the delay on the completion of the clan vetting exercise in the project areas. The Council of Public Servants Union is calling for the government to stop giving misleading information to the public and government workforce that the country is not broke and the fortnightly payments are paid. This comes after fortnight salaries for public servants were delayed this week, while some public servants have yet to receive their salaries.
So make it very clear to them, we don't want their rhetorics on the media. Secretary for Treasury and Secretary for Finance has to shut up and manage this country's economy.
The delay of fortnightly payments of public servants has been a site for concern this week, and the COPSU say that the reports that pay was delayed because of technical issues is utter nonsense, and the government needs to come out and tell the truth.
People calling us, checking the ATMs and going to the F-stores, trying to get goods being returned on the counters. I'm telling you people, this is a national disaster. And we just ask the government to come good, tell the public servants, tell the people of the country what's happening. Because those all impact on the way the fiscal economy is being managed.
The chairlady of COPSU, Ms. Emma Fatelli, said that when workers of the government are not paid, it is a national disaster, as the repercussions are far-reaching than what meets the eyes. She said that there would be social and economic disorder, and the government must be held accountable for such disasters.
Representatives, we want to demand the government of the day to give us a stern response on what is happening to our members' future in terms of employment security and sustainability of their welfare and livelihood.
When asked if the public servants would go into strike, the COPSU responded saying that how does the government expect people to go to work on empty stomachs?
It is a shame internationally. It brings about question of fiscal management of the economy, and the government must not take it lightly. All right? We're not going to dwell on what are we going to do if the pays continue to be delayed. The answer is already naturally is there. When you are not paid and your stomach is empty, you cannot go to work.
Ms. Fatelli said the council is calling on the government to give priority to workers as they are drivers of the development agenda and policy implementation. Adelaide Sirokskari, National EMTV News.
The National Disaster Centre currently has no money to assist provincial governments to deal with disasters in their province. Acting Director Martin Mose revealed this in a news conference today with Simbu Provincial Government. Funds have to be released depending on submissions made to the Department of Treasury.
The Simbu Provincial Government today presented its report on disasters affecting parts of the province. Kundiawa Gembog MP Tobias Kulang and Simbu Provincial Administrator Joe Kunda met with the Acting Director for National Disaster Centre Martin Mose to give an update of the situation.
The report covers two major issues. One is the landslips that is affecting our road systems in the province, including Kundia Gembok. Our provincial works coordinator has done some work, extensive work to canvass areas that are affected, and certain level of costing has been done, and we understand this may not fall within the mandate of this office here, but with their acknowledgement we will seek support and assistance from the National Works Department. The second part of this report covers disaster that is affecting our people socially. Communities displaced, food gardens washed away, homes destroyed.
Kulan says the provincial government has already sent relief supplies to affected areas of the province, but there is still a lot to be done. The Simbu provincial government hopes it will receive funding support from NDC to further assist the people. However, Simbu province is not the only province affected by torrential rains and flooding. As much as the National Disaster Center wants to assist affected provinces, it is handicapped with no funding. Acting Director Martin Mose has called on all provinces affected to submit their disaster reports in order for him to make submissions to Treasury for the release of funds.
Apparently, we don't have funding right now. You would appreciate the government, current government financial situation, but what's going to happen, it's a normal process that we normally do, that we'll have to go to Treasury Committee system to endorse it, and it goes. And I'm pretty sure the government is always responsible.
Provincial disaster officers are also being urged to effectively monitor disasters on the ground to avoid casualties. Mickey Cavera, National EMTV News.
Police apprehend a suspect in yesterday's bomb attack. That story and more when we come back. Welcome back to the news. Port Moresby police have apprehended a suspect in relation to the hand grenade that was detonated outside the home of the National Capital District Metropolitan Superintendent. Reliable sources told EMTV News that the suspect was apprehended this morning and is now in police custody. A task force team was set up yesterday to investigate how a hand grenade exploded at the home of Inspector Benjamin Turi. No one was injured, but bomb experts say the bomb was planted by someone who is knowledgeable on the explosion devices. The old rusted bomb was set off when Mr. Turi's daughter kicked the explosive that was found in his yard. Pellets from the hand grenade caused damage to parts of the house and a vehicle. The motive of the bombing is yet to be established, but Commissioner Baki said it is believed to be linked to the recent suspension of rogue police officers in Port Moresby. Most criminal cases do not reach higher courts because of lack of evidence presented at the committal court. EMTV News has been running a series of cases that were dismissed due to lack of investigation and evidence. Police Commissioner Gary Baki is now calling on police prosecutors to undergo refresher courses to be able to complete investigations.
At least 10 cases have been dismissed at the committal court since January this year. Many of these cases involved armed robbery, sexual assault and penetration charges, and grievous bodily harm. On Wednesday, the committal court struck out Richard Camben's case. He was charged for one count of sexual penetration of a 7-year-old girl in Port Moresby. The case was struck out on the grounds that the informant, Senior Constable Andrew Gege of Boroko Police Station, was sick and was unable to complete the investigation.
Prosecutors should be able to sit down, get a court file and look at it, whether there is all the evidence that he or she requires to present it in court is there. So if this is the case that's gone to the court and is thrown out, obviously our ability to reason it out in the sense that there are all evidence available is not there.
Commissioner Baki urged his prosecutors and investigators to undergo refresher courses. He said it will improve their ability and skills to be able to determine the evidence and prepare court files properly.
Our prosecutors will need to undergo a refresher program that will allow them to look at that, look at the files and be able to determine whether evidence are there for them to, to present in court. So that's something we will do internally.
It is understood that the amount of evidence needed in the court depends on the arresting officer and the investigators. Vasinata Yama, National EMTV News.
Chimbu police have arrested 3 people who are in possession of a pistol with 17 rounds of ammunition. The mobile squad unit was preparing for work when they spotted a 10-seater Land Cruiser traveling at high speed past a police residential area. The unit pursued the vehicle and found the passengers and driver drunk. A further search uncovered the gun and a small stash of bullets. The men, believed to be from Southern Highlands, are now in police custody. More than 2,000 weapons confiscated by the Vision City Mega Mall securities were presented to Gordon's police station today in Port Moresby. Vision City Mega Mall security manager Michael Portlagu said these weapons were confiscated from visitors to the mall.
These are the weapons confiscated by Vision City Mega Mall securities since June last year. Vicente City Mega Mall Security Manager Michael Potoglo said the guards seized at least 20 to 30 weapons from the VC goers.
Vision City likes to be a safe and secure environment for people to come shopping in safety and not be in fear that people are going to have weapons. So we do our best to scan the customers and to detect their weapons. Now, this is a sample of the weapons that we have taken over the last 6 months.
These knives, iron rods and sharp objects were handed over to Gordon's Police Station by Security Manager. Gordon's Police Station 2IC Commander Inspector Petrina Dickin, on behalf of the Royal Papua New Guinea Constabulary, commended the brave effort put out by VC securities in confiscating these weapons.
We enforce more of arresting people that are in possession of offensive weapon. We will be minimizing indictable offenses, and that can be a preventive approach addressing minor crimes.
Inspector Petrina said these weapons will be handed over to the RPNGC Water Police to be disposed at sea. She cautioned that anyone in possession of offensive weapons can be charged.
With business houses, community leaders, in a proactive approach, advocacy program, in terms of them assisting us with the resources, and our job has to be measurable. And measurable means the crime has to reduce, and there must be public relation. People must have access to information, have a mindset change, and together we join hands to make a difference, to have a safer city for everybody.
Eric Arupma, National EMTV News.
The body of a man from Yol village in the Gumini district of Chimbu province was found on Sunday after he went missing during a fight that erupted over sorcery accusations. 2 weeks ago, 7 men were blamed for sorcery killings. The men sought refuge at a nearby village and hired higher-powered guns. The Yol villagers mobilized and confronted the 7 armed men. It's understood that shots were fired, resulting in the killings of the men. He was shot in the head. Chimbu Provincial Police Commander Albert Belli confirmed that there were complaints over sorcery killings in the village 2 weeks ago, and it may have triggered this killing. Police arrested 6 suspects. 1 is still on the run. The Correctional Service staged a welcome parade for the acting CS Commissioner, Bernard Nepo, inside the premises of the Bomana prison this morning. The parade consisted of 3 platoons and was hosted by Bomana Jail Commander Kidi Keko. It was witnessed by senior members of the Royal Papua New Guinea Constabulary, the PNG Defence Force and detainees at Bomana.
The staging of this parade signaled a change in the Commissioner's position from former Commissioner Michael Waipo to Bernard Nepo. CS Minister Jim Simatab, who addressed the correctional officers on behalf of the government, says the appointment was decided by the national government and he was limited by law to comment on the change as it is now before the courts.
The government has decided that Mr. Nepo is the new leader of this organization. But as commissioner, for the next 3 months, his performances over this period will also dictate whether or not he continues as departmental head.
Nepo was appointed by the National Executive Council on February 4 and assumed office last Friday. This morning, he was received as the head of CS and presented his initiatives for the disciplinary force. Rehabilitation programs and prison policing are 2 priority areas Nepo will be focusing on for the next 3 months. For rehabilitation activities, CS will be looking at partnering with stakeholders to introduce more programs in the prisons around the country. While for policing prisons, Nepo admitted that though the program is underfunded by the state, he challenged CS executives to financially manage the program.
Now, the programs that I will initiate are not new. The programs are already here with us. But over the years, some of those programs were not efficiently and effectively run. And so as the Commissioner of PNG Correctional Service, I will ensure that these programs are rectified, are reviewed, and we can take them on board so that they can fully be utilized.
Nepo will be acting on the position for the next 3 months. Tekla Gunga, National EMTV News.
Works Secretary David Wera said the landslides affecting roads in the Highlands region has been fixed and the road from Kainantu to Hela now connected. As for the Eastern Highlands province, the Bena Bridge has been assembled and should be open tonight, while work is in progress for the Passam Pass.
Traffic from Eastern Highlands up all the way to Hela. Down at the Bena Bridge, we've launched the bridge across the river already. They're just doing the final touches now. And as we have committed to the road users in the week to open the traffic in the next 3-4 days, I think by tonight, the road should be fully restored, and tomorrow morning we're expecting traffic to resume. And our team is now moving down to the cold water, that's between Kainantu and Yonggi.
And now looking at our finance news. The kina closed 5 points lower at $0.3290 in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, your kina was buying $0.3215 US, $0.4463 Australian dollars, $0.2863 euro, and 36.15 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, gold, coffee, cocoa, and copra closed the day higher. Palm oil, crude oil, and copper closed the day lower. And on the stock market, the Dow Jones closed at 40 points higher, the ASX closed at 39 points higher, and the All Ordinaries closed at 38 points higher. National EMTV News continues after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back. You're watching National EMTV News. The Governor-General, Grand Chief Sir Michael Ogyeo, is still recovering from the heart surgery he underwent last October in Singapore. The head of state traveled to Singapore on Monday this week for a medical review. Due to his condition, the GG has been advised to stay away from work for a full recovery. The Governor-General has been regaining his health since the operation and will return to office once he gets the all clear from his doctor from the medical review. The GG will return from Singapore this weekend. In the meantime, Speaker of Parliament Theo Zurunok is acting Governor-General. 2 educational institutions signed an MOU today to strengthen ties. The Asia-Pacific Institute of Applied Social, Economic and Technical Studies has partnered with the University of Goroka to provide more options for school leavers. Erica Rupma with this report.
Asia-Pacific Institute of Applied Social, Economic and Technological Studies, or APISETS, is a privately run institution that offers certificate and diploma courses in technical, business, tourism and hospitality, aviation, maritime, etc. to school leavers. Today saw the amalgamation of this institution with the University of Goroka with the signing of the agreement.
The institute now is that our APISETS Institute has been elevated by just the mere signing of that agreement because it has been recognized as, because we will be offering the same programs as the University of Goroka is now currently providing.
This instrument signing paves way for this private institution to offer university courses to students through the distance mode, which is set to commence in May.
Current partnership arrangement, what will happen is the university will have its campus operating in APISET, and it will create an additional pathway in that all the programs that the university is offering, when delivered through the distance mode and through this campus here, students who have completed their program with APISET will then continue into higher level degrees, like the bachelor's program.
This comes at a time where the government's tuition fee-free education policy implemented in all school levels across the country will be expecting more school leavers at the end of this academic year.
If you look at it very carefully, private schools are the ones really doing the dirty job for the government, because they are training not anybody from another country or from another planet. They are training Papua New Guineans, just as same as the system schools and the approved schools are doing. So permitted schools are also training Papua New Guineans. So equal opportunity in terms of scholarships should also be given to private schools.
The partnership also plays a vital role in the development of PNG's human resource, which targets the estimated 75,000 school leavers annually. Eric Arupman, National EMTV News.
Jerry Lavarabin, a person with special needs, has begun grade 8 classes this week at St. Jude Silur Primary School in Namatanai district at the southern tip of New Ireland province. He may be the first person with special needs in New Ireland to have come this far. His story is a testament of how special education training can assist one to prosper. Fabian Hakelitz visited Jerry at his home in New Ireland recently.
Working towards achieving goals in life is not as easy for a person with special needs, as this requires love, care and support. But for Jerry Lavaravin from Panaras village, who's in his early 20s, it's not an obstacle because he has set his goals to achieve. Jerry has hearing impediments and can only communicate through sign language. His mother Gabriela recalls Jerry's childhood days.
Kami biniblik, bin at long lubay sa maulo tuktok wantemen. Go tamen go grow kamantar no sa mipla sawo sa men kain pikinil sa men nanaplumarin.
In 2010, after completing his grade 6 and staying home for some time, his and his sister Rosemary, a Catholic nun, reopened Jerry's desire and hope to education. With the love, care and support provided by his uncle Stephen and Auntie Marian, he enrolled at Sacred Heart Primary School in Kavieng. Jerry is also very good in playing sports and is a Paralympian who has represented New Ireland Province in athletics, producing successive results.
Training tembayron, siya ron golong where siya like mo sa Klapimul Mountain go down training long.
From Sacred Heart Primary School, he was transferred to St. Jude Silur Primary School. Jerry, in his sign language, says that he found it difficult to cope because of limited infrastructure and materials to really support people with special needs, and also a teacher who is specialized in inclusive education.
Okay, so his experience with Sacred Heart Primary School was a lot of teachers, they couldn't communicate with Jerry because they wouldn't know the sign language, and there wasn't a lot of in-services from Kalan, Kavieng, especially Resource Center, to conduct sign language in services and all this to Jerry when he was at Sacred Heart Primary School. And also the students, a general feeling among the students wasn't much, it wasn't really that open to sign with the students, so a lot of the times he keeps to himself.
Rose Passingan is one of the specialist teachers who have graduated from St. Benedict's Teachers College in East Subic Province with a diploma in primary teaching and also special inclusive education. With Rose's expertise in special inclusive education, Jerry has found space and time in his education journey, producing promising academic results, being one of the top 5 students.
He scored very high marks, and he got 4 gifts at the end of the year, and he is now going to do his grade 8 this year.
Her initiative to strengthen the outreach program for people with special needs will be a lifelong thing to remember.
And then running workshops, and then getting the old school, the students, volunteers to get trained in sign language, and then they are able to communicate with Jerry.
The Christian Brothers, a Catholic congregation of men, have been very helpful as part of their spirituality.
If Jerry can advance through elementary and primary, why not these other children in the villages? So that's it's kind of a model student as well too, to give encouragement to parents.
What Rose wants to see is a society free from discrimination for people with special needs and are given the utmost special treatment with love, care and support. Fabian Hakelitz, National EMTV News.
Chukai Sports is next. We'll preview NSL and PNG's top squash player ranked 5th in the Asian junior competition.
Chukai Sports.
Welcome to Chukai Sports. The second stage of the Telecom National Soccer League is set to commence with 2 matches to kick off simultaneously in Lae and Port Moresby. The Sir Ignatius Kilage will host the derby match between 2015 Grand Final winners Lae City Dwellers and Welgrease Morbe United, while the nation's capital will see Hekari United and PKA Rapatona.
Head-to-head, Rapatona have yet to defeat Hekari, the nearest being a 2-1 loss in round 7, with that match being characterized by the young PKA side showing a high degree of tenacity towards the end. Rapatona do, however, go into the match lacking much-needed finals experience, and although they have quality up front, will need quicker attacking passes in the forward third to offset Hekari's mass defending. This is a must-win game for Hekari as well. While they have been undefeated, they will be wary of complacency, as it has been 3 weeks since any of the participating franchises have had any matches. Hekari have recruited for the Finals and Oceania Champions League campaign, boosting their already formidable side. Over at the Sir Ignatius Kilage Stadium in Lae, Welgrease Morbe United make a welcome return to the finals after a 2-year absence from the competition. They meet Lae City Dwellers and head into this match coming off 3 straight wins towards the back end of the qualifying stage. Head-to-head against City, Welgrease have lost twice. The first, a narrow 1-0, before a 3-1 loss saw them relegated to second place. For Lae City, this also provides for them an opportunity to further stake their claim as NSL champions. It will be the first time that the final series has been played under the new competition format, with 2 teams qualifying from different conferences, and while there have been changes to accommodate for travelling teams, the quality of the finalists cannot be doubted. Jeremy Mogi, National, EMTV Sports.
The National Soccer League has warned the supporters and management of Lae City Dwellers FC and Morbe Welgrease United FC to keep their behaviours in check. The local derby on Saturday is expected to be an emotional encounter. Both Lae-based franchises go head-to-head in the beginning of the Champions Series. Bethany Harman with this report.
The National Soccer League wants crowd control and no drama from team management and spectators during Saturday's game. Telecom National Soccer League Champions Series begins with a local derby in Lae. The Lae City Dwellers will take on Morbe Welgrease United FC. The game will be an emotional one. Drama is expected and the National Soccer League doesn't want any of it.
We are organizing enough security to cater for all those dramas during the weekend.
Teams will be fined and players could even face suspension. Major sponsors Telecom have backed the governing body's decision to come down tough during games in the Champions Series.
And based on the supporters' attitude and the outcomes, Telecom would like to continue to sponsor. But
so far, games in Lae haven't been disrupted. The Northern Conference was without major hiccups. The Champions Series, however, is a different ball game.
Saturday, so missing out lot supporters, lo behave, lo wave, lo support, na talk, na sing out, lo wave, lo support, lo team play me.
The teams have given assurance of a drama-free encounter on Saturday. Bethany Harriman, National EMTV Sports, Lae.
Football club Port Moresby will see one of its top players, Nathan James, leaving the shores of PNG to play with Kumera Cloth Soccer Club in the Gold Coast Premier League division in Australia. Nathan's departure is an example of FC Port Moresby's drive to see its players succeed in high level of football competition in the region and around the world. Shane Soroya has this report.
Nathan's departure is part of FC Port Moresby's development pathway and plan for young PNG players, where the club believes it's not just about football, but it's also about life skills. being independent and living away from home, learning about different culture. Nathan has not only excelled on the football field, but he's a player with exceptional work ethic and a great attitude to do well for himself. The future looks promising for FC Port Moresby, given that the club has an extensive football network, both regionally and around the world. Nathan's departure is the club's first export and certainly not the last. Nathan has signed for Gold Coast Premier League club, Kumara Court Soccer Club. He will be playing in a very competitive league, which will help him in his development and also push his case for national team selection. Nathan will meet his new teammates tonight in his first training session and plays in a intercity squad friendly match tomorrow night. Shane Soroya, National EMTV Sports.
To squash, Papua New Guinea's top-seeded female squash player Lynette Vai has made the top 5 of the girls under-19 category in the Asian Junior Squash ranking last week. Mai Koime reports.
Vai was one of the 4 biggest movers in the latest rankings. She jumped from 15th spot into the top 5 after her outstanding performance at the Singapore Open last December. The 17-year-old PNG champion said she was aiming for the top spot, which she believes is achievable if she continues her top performance. Vai's outstanding performance so far is an achievement that's bringing her closer to the top spot. Mai Koime, National EMTV Sports.
Chukai Sports continues after the break. Stay tuned.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome back to Trukai Sports. The partnership between Export and PNG RFU will allow for the union to revive the game in all 4 regions of the country. A rugby championship focused on the 15th format and the National 7 Series under World Rugby guidelines was made known yesterday by General Manager of PNG RFU, Frank Genya. National Coaching Director Sydney Wesley says this is an exciting prospect as it not only reignites the flame that was once there before the code went downhill, but it will also encourage mass participation and build on more talent in rural PNG.
Over the course of the years, PNG Rugby has seen a steady growth in participation figures, and by 2015 were recognised as the largest participation union in the region, now ranked 18th in the world. Through mass participation programs in the country, the demand for a higher level of competition was constant. With the backing of SB Brewery through the SB Export Lager brand, the union was pleased to announce the introduction of a rugby championship and a National 7 Series.
Previously, PNG RFU had in place a similar competition under a different format. However, the new objective under this new format is to ensure that there is inclusivity, focusing primarily on provincial as opposed to regional. Now, these 3 conferences include the Southern Conference, where we will see the Capital Rugby Bombers, the Capital Rugby Guys, the Daru Stingrays, and the combined provincial team of Central, Daru and Oro, which will be called the Barbarians. The Northern Conference will see the Morabay Hammerheads, the Morabay Tiger Sharks, Eastern Highlands Killer Tours, and the Madang Madgowns. And finally, in the New Guinea Islands Conference, we'll see the East New Britain Kayas, the West New Britain Rebels, New Ireland Drungos, and finally the autonomous region of Bougainville Black Orchids.
The National 7 Series will consist of 5 legs determined by 3 factors: player base, centralised location and potential to identify new talent and increase senior rugby participation.
Brewery and Export Lager, in collaboration with PNG RFU, have decided to have agreed to recognise each of these tournaments to be synonymous to each province or region, and by that I mean, for example, in the southern region, we will see the sevens tournament be called the Hetero Sevens.
National Coaching Director of the PNG RFU, Sydney Wesley, says this is an exciting prospect as it not only reignites the flame that was once there before the code went downhill, but it will encourage mass participation and build on more talent in rural PNG.
We see this as an ideal opportunity to, I'd say, rectify that area. Players at the local competition now see that as the next step up from where they're playing right now, And then at that competition, it's the next step up. I mean, after that, it's the national team.
Now, with an opportunity to demonstrate the length in which rugby can excel abroad, the union looks set to take rugby to greater heights. Lorraine Genia, National EMTV Sports.
Newly formed suburban rugby team, Calgary United, made its debut in the Rugby Sevens competition at Bava Park in Port Moresby today. The Sevens competition is sponsored by NCD Governor Powers Parkop.
Calgary United is made up of players in the likes of current PNG Pukpuk, Stanis Susuve, and 5 PNG touch representatives, including Waris Sarufa, Samuel Vetu, Eugene Eka, and Manu Sevese, with the Gulf East Sapir trainer Joe Walter as the team manager. The new team assembled today in their first ever Rugby Sevens competition. The team is sponsored by Wills Customs Limited, who donated 2,000 kina to cater for registration and medical fees. Team captain Timothy Samuel said the main objective for participating is to promote the code of Rugby Union and encourage more youths to take part. The enthusiasm of raw talent from the Calgary community has inspired them to put up a team to play. The team is focused on taking on more tournaments hosted by Capital Rugby Union in the future. Mike Koime, National EMTV Sports.
That ends Trukai Sports. The weather details after the break.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
Your weather forecast for tonight and tomorrow. In the southern region, fine with chances of clouds developing later on for Port Moresby. Chances of afternoon showers for Daru, rain showers for Kerema and Popondetta, and mostly fine for Alatau. In the Momase region, rain showers for all centres. In the New Guinea Islands region, rain showers for all centres. And in the Highlands region, rain showers for all centres. Now recapping our top stories for tonight. The new policy on small to medium enterprise expected to create milestones for PNG's economy. A suspect apprehended in relation to yesterday's bombing. And the Works Department has repaired parts of the Highlands Highway, including the Kainantu to Hela Road. That ends National EMTV News. I'm Hope Imaka. Pleasant viewing. Good night.